It's Monday morning and we are back. I'm walking down to the gym. Look at this. And it's been a slow morning. It's actually just turned afternoon, so it's not actually morning anymore. But yeah, it's been a slow morning. I went out at the weekend and I don't go out very often anymore. I haven't been out probably for about 3-4 months, like on a night out. And that's because I don't drink anymore. I haven't drank for a year and a half nearly. So it's just the sleep, like the lack of sleep that gets me now. It wasn't such a late night, but yeah, definite lack of sleep because the clock's changed in the UK as well. And also, welcome to the life of a 38-year-old now. I need my sleep. But yeah, just off to the gym now. I'm gonna hop in the sauna for a while, wake me up a little bit and crack on with the day. But as soon as I come out, I'll tell you what we've got planned this week. You know, there's something to be said about that sauna. I feel like a new man with the reddest face on the planet. I feel like a new man, which is good. Walking back now and, well, gonna try and make something of the rest of the day. In terms of this week, I need to finish the caterpillar videos. Remember last week I told you that I'd finished the 16:9s. I do still have product only videos to do, which are like 15 seconds per, and there's about 8 of them. I did sneak one of those out this morning, which I forgot to tell you about. So it's not been a wasted morning. And yeah, gonna probably do a few more of those today. And over the course of this week, I'll get the rest of the videos done. I am still waiting for them to get back to me because I did send the 16:9s that I'd done last week over on Friday. And so I'm waiting for their feedback on those first before I continue into the 9x16s. And then other than that, this week is pretty quiet so far. Pretty quiet. That should keep me busy for the majority of the week, I'd say, but yeah, not much else going on. I was actually supposed to have a shoot this week, but it got cancelled. They paid a deposit, but the shoot was meant to be this week. It got cancelled maybe 3 weeks ago because my client has been taken to hospital. So I just basically said, listen, concentrate on getting better. Your health's more important. And then come back to me when you want to reschedule. So I think I've never really had much experience in terms of, obviously I'll take a deposit, but obviously I've not had much experience in terms of people cancelling or whatever. This is different. This is not like a cancellation. There's a very good excuse for this. So I just said, listen, like, just call me back or message me back or get back in touch with me when you're much better and we can reschedule. Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, and I just wanted to jump on and give you an update as to what I've been up to yesterday. Got all the caterpillar videos done that I needed to get done, the 16:9s, sent those off, waiting for them to come back with approval so I can start the 9x16s, which I mentioned. Now I've got to do all of the videos that I've done, all 24 in 9x16. So I'm going to be doing that once they've approved those, hopefully before the end of this week, because my point of contact has mentioned that she's out of office next week for spring break. So it would be just lovely to have some approval before then so I can continue with the 9x16s next week. Other than that, I have a shoot next week that I need to prepare for. And the way that I need to prepare for it, I'm going to show you this afternoon. I basically just need to set up my lights and my cameras downstairs with a subject, sat in the hot seat, so I can adjust the lighting where I see fit. I'm just a little bit unsure about the situation next week. I have to film like an interview setting. So there's going to be 2 subjects having a conversation, a light on each, hopefully. That panel light you can see behind me, another panel light, and then maybe a softbox light, just kind of bouncing a bit more light, maybe off the ceiling or something like that. But they do have a window in there with natural light
obviously coming through, which means that the lights I've got in the room need to be more dominant than the light coming through the window. Something I have a minor experience with, so I'd like to just have a bit of a practice run downstairs with the gear set up. Obviously, it's going to be like a different environment, but there is natural light coming in downstairs, and I just want to see how to get the best exposure with balancing the light, with the light coming in outside, and my cameras. So I'm going to have a go at that, and I'll show you the setup. Okay, I'm going to start bringing some stuff down into this space, because the idea is I'm going to set up in front of this window, in front of these two chairs here, where my subjects will be sat. And then I've got the window behind, like I will have on the shoot next week, albeit it's a smaller window, but I still get to test making the lights as dominant as I can so the window doesn't take over. Okay, so I've got everything down. We've got the camera, second camera over there, the panel lights here, and then my key light here with the Tarion softbox down here. So I'm gonna get it all set up and see what we've got. So this is gonna be the main key light, which is gonna be the main light on the faces of the subjects. And afterwards, the two panel lights that you can see on this side will act as hair lights. So they're gonna bring a little bit of light into the shot, but nowhere near as much as this. So this is the setup currently. We've got my guinea pig, Ryan. Say hello, mate.
Hi, everyone.
Look like you're on a breakfast show. Yeah, and then got the main key light here, which is bouncing the light off the ceiling, and then the panel lights either side. I'm going to try them like this for now, and then I'm going to try them in a different position afterwards. But I've got one camera here, and then the other camera over here, because this has got a 50 lens on it, and this one's got a 24. So this one can sit closer. So with the window being behind us here, obviously you've got the natural light coming through. So the way that I've been testing what the most dominant light in the scene is just by turning each light off and then looking at the monitor here to see what sort of changes we can see. So for example, if we turn this one off and then look at the monitor, you can see significant change on the subject, and then turn it back on again. So basically, if we see significant change, that then tells us that it's a dominant light in the scene, and then hopefully the exposure in the scene shouldn't change if like the sun goes behind a cloud or something. All right, this time I've moved the panel lights over to the center here. So one panel light is facing towards this chair, and the other panel light is facing towards my current subject.
The cardigan fella.
And whatever that means. But this time, because we've not got the lights either side of the subjects, like the other side, so it's bringing in more light into the scene, I've moved this from the ceiling to face directly on the subjects to bring more light into the scene that way. And this is what we're dealing with.
Me.
So you'll see a bigger change now. When I turn off this light here, you'll see a bigger change in the scene compared to what you saw last time. There we go. So I think it probably makes more sense for me to have this facing directly at our subjects as the more dominant light than facing at the ceiling. But I also do think that it's just going to be a case of I figure it out when I get there, because every situation is going to be different. Okay, successful experiment there. I feel a little bit easier now about the shoot next week. Again, it's going to be different in terms of the space, the lighting in there. It's all going to be different. Even the positions of the cameras, because the room is smaller that I'm going to be shooting in. But like I said, you can never be 100% prepared, I don't think, until, like, unless you were testing it in the actual room, you can't be 100% prepared. But I think just thinking about where the cameras need to be, where the light needs to be, or the lights need to be, whether, again, the main key light, whether we bounce that off the ceiling around the room or whether it is facing directly on our subjects. And I think as well, it's important to realize where these lights go, because I did get good results, I think, from both positions, but really it just depends again on the room and the space that we've got. So I've uploaded the footage from earlier. I've had a look at both different scenarios with the two different types of lighting, and I want to break it down. There is a couple of things that I would have done differently now looking at the footage, which is great because this is why we test it. This is why I've tested it before next week, so that I can be sure of what I'm going to do, or at least more certain of what I'm going to do. And this has kind of answered some questions for me. So all good. Going to share it with you now. And yeah, let me know what you think, because this is still pretty new to me. Lighting, things like that, it's still pretty new to me. Whenever I've used lighting on shoots in the past, I've got pretty good results, but I always question, could I have got better? Now, if you have any lighting tips whatsoever, based on the lighting that I've been using in this video, let me know in the comments, because seriously, any feedback that anyone's got on this would be much appreciated. Let's dive in. So, I've got the two different scenarios here. The one on the left-hand side here, the hair light is on the left-hand side of the subject. This is why we've got this glare on the face here. And then the key light obviously is in front of the subject, facing towards the ceiling. So we're getting bounced from the ceiling, but we're not getting as much light on the face as what we are, say, in the right-hand side example, where the key light is facing directly towards the subjects. And the difference on this one as well is the key lights on the right-hand side of the subject here. And then of course it's going to be on the left-hand side, the opposite side. So we're facing the key light, we're facing the hair light towards this subject's face as well. So therefore they're getting more even light on the face. My personal favorite is the left-hand side because there's more contrast, there's more depth in the face. We're seeing that shadow here, that nice shadow on the right-hand side of the face as well. I think one thing that I will try on shoot day is I'll bring the hair lights and I'll bring them, say on this one here, rather than having it high up over the shoulder, I'm going to have it down here. So it's still out of shot, but we're just going to get a nice glow on the subject's head here. That's why we call it a hair light, right? Because it lights up the nice glow around the head there, and even maybe on the shoulder, depending on what they're wearing and so on. I don't know how much glare we'll get because obviously there's going to be light coming in from the back as well. But remember, the idea of this whole experiment was to see how we could get dominant lighting on the inside of the room rather than the lighting coming in from the out. So overall, I think this one's my favorite on the left-hand side. But do let me know what you think, and definitely let me know if you've got any tips on this as well. I'm still pretty new to the lighting side of stuff, and I've done jobs with lighting before, but I'm still pretty new to it. I'm still learning. So if you've got any advice, tips whatsoever based on the lighting that I've showed you today, give me a shout in the comments. Let me know. I'd be happy to chat about it and I'd be happy to learn. But I think based on what I've learned today, I'm going to try the hair light down here somewhere just out of shot. And then another thing I noticed as well is the reflections in the window. Something we've all got to watch out for. Something you don't necessarily notice on the day or at the time. Obviously, we don't want that. The thing about these, though, is they are going to be 9x16. So the crop will probably sit somewhere around here, and we wouldn't see the reflection anyway. So I would have got away with it, which is a fluke, but I would have got away with it. So productive day there, happy with what I've learned. Hopefully that's going to give me some knowledge for the shoot next week. And as usual, hopefully we get some great content and we have a happy client. That's the main thing. I also forgot to mention that I did test out these lav mics that I bought the other week today. These DJI lav mics, super clear. They actually plug into my DJI 2s that I have here, and somehow seemed clearer than if I just used them. I'm probably just hearing things. But yeah, great purchase. They get hidden away for my interviews next week that I'm filming. So I've been doing some outreach recently, some of which on LinkedIn. And I don't think, weirdly, a lot of people think about LinkedIn when it comes to outreach. I'm not sure why, because obviously it's all about business and networking and connecting anyway. But I did have a woman come back to me today on LinkedIn. She wants a video edit for her new product for her business. I reached out to her. I noticed she put a post out the other week. I reached out to her, told her that I could be of help, and she came back to me today and asked if I could provide a quote, which I did this morning. And I'll wait to see if I hear back from her. She did say that she has a small budget, which, you know, is fine, but I'm still going to charge what I think the job is worth and what I think my time is worth for the job. So it's kind of pointless saying it, but people do say this type of thing quite a lot. So we'll see if I hear back from her. And not only that, but I've heard from a previous client who wants me to do some more video edits, 6 videos altogether with a deadline of mid-May. That's all I know about it so far. But I'm going to quote that over the next day or two as well. So that's going to be keeping me busy. Things are still all go at the moment, which is good. Got the shoot next week that I was preparing for yesterday, which I will take you on in next week's vlog. Still happy with how things are going. I'm still doing the outreach just in case we get to a point where we have some dead space. I'd love to start building even more clients, of course. But yeah, for now, we're doing well. But that's it for this week. Glad you're still watching. If you're enjoying this, YouTube suggesting you watch this one here. I'm pointing at it with some chicken. But YouTube suggesting that you watch this one here. As usual, I'm Ash. This is Amixmotion. Stay safe. And I'll see you in the next one.
I mean, to be fair, Michael B. Jordan, Michael A. Jordan, you know what I mean, one letter above. My acting skills are actually out of this world, and you get to be in my presence, so